Very good morning and Assalamualaikum to all audiences and speakers. It was a great day today to hold a forum. I would like to welcome you all to this forum discussion. In this special occasion, we would like to have a discussion about ethics, protocol, and culture in event management of Malaysia now and then. Before the forum begins, I would like to introduce our panel members for today. First, we have Dr. Nazira, Master in Sociology in UKM. Secondly, Ms. Hanis, Public Relations and Protocol Expert. Thirdly, Ms. Aisha, Assistant Director of Cultural Center in UiTM. Last but not least, Mr. Zul, a journalist from Astro. All right, what really ethics, protocols, and culture are all about? Culture. Culture is the characteristic and knowledge of a particular group of people encompassing language, religion, cuisine, social habits, music, and arts. Protocols. Protocol is the official procedure or system of rules governing affairs of state or diplomatic occasions. Ethics, on the other hand, is one's personality that is reflected in one's individual behavior to God or human beings, based on New Straits Times year 2016. I believe there are so many culture, protocol, and ethics that we should really be concerned about. For that, I would give that all questioning about ethics, specifically of event management in Malaysia, to Dr. Nazira.
Assalamualaikum and hi everyone. Thank you to the organizer because your willingness to invite me and the other speakers. So I'm going to talk about the ethics in event then and now. First, about the dress code. If you can remember, back in 1980s, when people attend to Malay weddings, they will wear traditional clothes which is the full set, baju kurung and baju Melayu with samping. But nowadays, the guys prefer to wear shirt with jeans and ladies prefer to wear blouse with a skirt or jeans. Next, the ethics to enter an event. From this point, I will relate it to our current situation, which is the COVID-19 pandemic. Back then, most events such as festival didn't have the entrance and exit door. But now, every event organizer needs to provide an entrance and exit door to follow the SOP. So that is all from me about the ethics in event.
That is very great explanation on ethics from our first panelist. Yes, I do agree, and I think our audiences here are also with you when you were mentioning about the difference of dress code now and then in attending weddings. Now, let's move on to protocols. What can you say about protocols in event management, Ms. Hanis?
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum everyone. Thank you for inviting us. Based on my studies, we all know that with the current situation, which is the COVID-19 pandemic, we have our own standard operating procedure, which we know as SOP. We have our own SOP instructed by KKM. SOP is actually our new protocols for event. For example, before COVID-19, during wedding reception, we will serve food for our guests at their own table. But for the current being, Majlis Keselamatan Negara MKN suggests an idea that all guests need to take away their meals instead. This way should avoid having close interaction among the guests. Besides, SOP for social distancing, we have to put distance between ourselves and other people for at least 1 meter. Unlike before, there was no social distancing between people. Because of the disease, every organizer who failed to follow the new protocol or SOPs during the CMCO could be fined and jailed and will be ordered to shut their business. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Hanis. It is my belief that as we are now currently living in this COVID-19 pandemic, SOP have become our new protocol. Like Hanis has mentioned, now social distancing is actually one of our protocols. We have now talked about ethics. and protocols. I think our third panelist here will be sharing with us her thought on culture in event management. You may now share, Miss Aisha.
Thank you to our lovely moderator for such a great introduction to our topics today. The Melayu or Malay race of their customary joints of marriage and men's entourage march toward the bride house with the beating of the kompang. Greeted with a bridal martial art performance. As we grow into digital era, the kompang tradition are slowly getting ignored by the Malays. The kompang performance get less attention from the people due to presence of music recorder. This matter shows the difference of event tradition now and then. Now we move to a very obvious culture nowadays. The rewang tradition that practiced by the Malays have been forgotten after advent of catering. Rewang is a concept of feasting that prepares an invited meal either during an engagement or wedding ceremonies, in congregation or gotong royong. In the present time, with the various popular service being offered, the bride and the groom have more choices in picking venue whether to hold a ceremony at hall, hotel, or their home. I think this is enough for me to say that events now and then are changing and into a better one. That's all.
What a great explanation from Miss Aisha. Nowadays, we rarely see rewang. Last time I've been into a wedding ceremony that has rewang was probably when I was in primary school. To the further information, I would like to invite Mr. Zul to share with us some examples of marriages that has their own protocols, ethics, and culture.
Thank you, dear moderator, speakers. Speaking about marriages, even the Chinese have differences in their wedding culture. I have a friend, his name is Rich Brian. He told me that a long time ago, their marriage was between the siblings, despite being prohibited in the Chinese culture. There was a story between Nuwa and Pushi. At that time, the world did not have many inhabitants. The siblings were were very felt ashamed to get married. So they went to this hill called Kunlushan and prayed to the heaven so they get the permission to get married. But that was in the past, okay? So as you can see that they don't have to propose their own siblings to get married. As if I may, Dr. Zira, let's move back into the ethics. Being in a modern age, many traditional customs in marriage are not practiced by the Chinese society. Also, there are some customs in wedding marriages still remain practiced by the Chinese society. Based on my journalism experience, there are two forms of marriages, which are explicit and implicit. Explicit marriages are usually the better form in ethics because it is arranged by their parents. But explicit marriages are being practiced in the early days. Nowadays, most young adults would like to practice the implicit marriages. Implicit marriages where both female and male, uh-huh, both female and male, they get their freedom to choose for their spouses. Okay, which I believe in this case, everyone would like to have that kind of wedding. Am I right, Dia? The floor is yours.
Yes, yes, you are very right, Mr. Zul. Okay, that was a good example you gave there, Mr. Zul. Thank you to our panelists today. As consequence, I can conclude that ethics, protocols, and culture are major roles that have distributed in event management. We may think that these three do not have an involvement in events, but yes, they do. That's all for the forum today. Thank you. Until then, see you. Bye bye.